Welcome to the Talkin VAWLS Network. My name is Boogie Bentley. Look, when we talk about the transfer portal, we're all waiting, right? We're all watching. We're all waiting on that news about who's going to be the next quarterback at Tennessee. And there's really not a lot of talk out there about it, but we still got a ton of news to get into today. And I guess we'll start with the bad news, if you want to call it that. Larry Johnson has declared his entry into the portal. He joins Aiden Bussell as the second offensive lineman to enter the portal for Tennessee during this spring cycle. Now, is this a big loss? And I mean, the sky's not falling. I'm not in panic mode. I'm not freaking out, but I do think this is a big loss for Tennessee. Larry Johnson played in 11 games last season, and I expected him to play a lot of football this fall. I thought this was an interesting quote from Glenn Ellerby. This was in the VolQuest article. He said, especially in the last year, I thought that Larry Johnson had come on an unbelievably long way, and being honest with him through it, I was expecting him to just jump out and have an unbelievable spring. He goes on to say he's had a very solid one. I'm like, Trey, you have the capability of even taking another step, and I think he understands that, and he agrees. We've been trying to be super honest in our O-line room. He's got that ability. So it sounds like Larry Johnson had a good spring. We've talked a lot about it. Larry Johnson got in shape. He lost some of that bad weight, and I think Larry Johnson would have been a contributor, but I think maybe that Larry Johnson saw the writing on the wall. Maybe he wants to go somewhere and be a starter. So when we talk about taking a step, but he could have taken an even bigger step, I think he's out there on that practice field. I think he knows what Big Dave Sanders looks like. I think Larry Johnson could have possibly been the starter in week one, but at the end of the day, I think he knows that it's going to be hard to keep Big Dave off the field. I just hate it from a depth perspective. I think he would have been the first tackle off the bench, but look, he's not the only tackle that had a good camp. We've heard about Bennett Warren. We've heard about Jesse Perry. So best of luck to Larry Johnson wherever he ends up. But I do think that this does hurt a little bit. It does sting a little bit. Look, we got a lot of news to talk about, so we're going to get into it. We got a couple of guys that Tennessee is in the portal. Before we do that, you guys know the deal. Do the YouTube stuff. Smash the thumbs up. Subscribe. Click the bell for notifications so you don't miss out when we go live or when we drop a video. Right now, I'm going to go live every Sunday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern time. We're going to play EA Sports College Football, but we're going to talk all things Tennessee football. If any news breaks and we need to go live, we got a lot to talk about. Guess what? We will go live. So make sure you click that bell for notifications. If it's your first time here, welcome to the Talkin VAWLS Network. We don't pretend to be some type of expert or insider here. We are exactly what you are listening to this channel. We are a fan for the fans, by the fans. So if you like what we do, come hang out with us. We talk Tennessee football all day, every single day. If you want to support a little bit further, you can hit that join button down below. You can become a member of this channel. Keep the lights on. We would appreciate that support. It's only $1 a month, but if not, that's fine. Smash the thumbs up. Quick, free, and easy. Let's jump into it. Let's go take a look at a target for Tennessee. This was put out by Hayes Fawcett. You can see the tweet there. Breaking: BYU All-American wide receiver kick returner Keelan Marion plans to enter the transfer portal, he tells On3 Sports. In his career, he's totaled 76 catches for 1,125 yards and 12 total touchdowns, has 38 kick return attempts for 881 yards and 3 touchdowns. Now, Hayes Fawcett says there that he's got 2 years of eligibility left. I don't think that's accurate. I think it's 1. He spent 2 seasons at Connecticut. As a true freshman, he had 28 catches, 474 yards, and 5 touchdowns. The next season, only played in 3 games, so he redshirted there. Then he played 2 seasons at BYU, totaled 44 receptions, 562 yards, and a touchdown. But special teams is where he really shines. But again, I think Hayes Fawcett got that wrong. It looks like that Keelan Marion only has 1 year of eligibility left. But where he really shines, and you see it there, All-American wide receiver / kick returner. You go to his bio. You go to his bio over at BYU. This is the rundown. First team All-American return specialist. That's Walter Camp, FWAA, Pro Football Focus, CBS Sports, Phil Steele. You go on down. Second team All-American return specialist, Sporting News, College Football Network. Big 12 kick returner of the year, College Football Network. All Big 12 first team return specialist. All Big 12 second team return specialist. So this guy is a weapon on special teams, has 18 kickoff returns for 472 yards and 2 touchdowns this past season at BYU. So not only would you get that body that you need in the wide receiver room, that extra guy that you need in the wide receiver room, but you get a weapon on special teams, a weapon in the return game. Now, I was reading an article about him entering the portal, and it sounds like this came as a surprise to BYU. They weren't expecting him to enter the portal, and he had a really big spring. Everything I read said he had a great spring, and he was expected to play a huge role, not just on special teams, not just in the return game, but also expected to play a huge role in their offense at the wide receiver position. Now, he's got offers from SMU, Miami, Arizona State, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Florida State, Baylor, West Virginia, Virginia Tech, and Wisconsin. Now, according to VolQuest.com, Tennessee has also offered, and he is planning on taking a visit. Now, that is likely going to be this upcoming weekend. And why is that? Why would you wait that long to take a visit? Now, he's got a lot of offers. I don't know what he's going to be scheduling in between there. But I think for Tennessee, this quarterback thing didn't go as quickly as they expected. And is that frustrating to you? Are you frustrated that here we are halfway through this spring portal window and we still don't have a quarterback? But maybe, just maybe, that's why Tennessee is scheduling Keelan Marion's visit for this upcoming weekend. So hopefully they can tie a big fat bow on that quarterback situation. But when you look at it, we're kind of between a rock and a hard place here, right? Because of Nico going into the portal in April. That's not normal for QB1. Usually the big guys that are going to go in for money or, the playmakers, the big-time prospects usually go in that fall window. But Nico kind of kicking the can down the road. All the drama that played out led us to where we are. And here we sit in the spring window looking for a quarterback to come in and compete for the starting job. And I said this last night during the EA Sports College Football stream. A lot of people saying, oh, we got to go get that guy. We got to go get that dude. Well, who? Who is that guy? Like a lot of talk about the Illinois quarterback. The Illinois quarterback is not in the portal. Now, you can read message board rumors, and if you do and you kind of speculate on those, it sounded like the Illinois quarterback was a guy that Tennessee was targeting, but he never entered the portal. Now it sounds like the same place that those rumors are coming from now sounds like that ship has sailed, and no longer is it the kid from Illinois. So is it Joey Aguilar, the kid from UCLA, transferred to UCLA from App State? He's a playmaker. He's athletic. Is he QB1 in the SEC? Is he QB1 at Tennessee? I don't know. He would add a body. He would add depth. I think he's got 1 year of eligibility left. Also, a lot of talk about the kid from Notre Dame. So Tennessee continues to evaluate that quarterback position. Hopefully they have something worked out before Keelan Marion comes to campus this weekend. I want to jump over and talk about another player that Tennessee is targeting. Tennessee is in the mix where you see Hayes Fawcett creates the graphic. Says news, 4 schools are heavily in the mix for Syracuse standout defensive lineman Murad Watson, a source tells On 3 Sports. Texas, Georgia, Ohio State, and Tennessee are the schools to watch for the freshman All-American. Totaled 31 tackles and a sack last season. Now, if you remember this name, it's kind of fun to go back and kind of relive his recruitment. He was a 3-star prospect coming out of high school, listed as a 4-star prospect in the transfer portal. This is from on3.com. Says Watson was a freshman All-American this past season on his way to 31 tackles and 1 sack. He notched a Pro Football Focus defensive grade of 65.1 and a run defensive grade of 77.4. Most of his snaps were in the B gap with 289 plays out of his 493 total from that alignment. Now, this is what's fun to go back and relive history. And everybody that loves to stargaze, and look, I get it, man. You're going to have way more opportunity, way more success building a football program, signing 5 stars, than you are 3 stars. That's the reality of the situation. But if your evaluations are on point, it goes back to what Swain said in the charity stream all the way back in January. The reason Ohio State is successful, because when they go get a 5-star, they're a 5-star. But when they take a 3-star, their evaluations are on point, and that 3-star becomes a contributor to their football team. So when you go back and you look at Murad Watson's recruitment, 3-star coming out of high school, Vols offered late. They offered very late in the cycle, but they did manage to get him on campus. And you kind of go back and you relive that history, and I kind of laugh at all the 3-star U comments because Coach Hype and Coach G put on the full court press. They went in home because they were late to the game. They went in home, and they convinced Murad Watson to cancel a visit that he had scheduled to Nebraska in order to get him to Rocky Top for an official visit. And I was going back to some old threads on VolQuest and putting my notes together and laughing at some of the comments saying, oh, wow, this is what we're doing. This is the guy that we're going to go get. This is the guy that's a difference maker that we're going to add late in the cycle. But then that 3-star that everybody was laughing at turned into a freshman All-American, and now he's hitting the portal. I think Coach G knows what he's talking about, and I think Coach G knows what he wants. Now, there's not a whole lot out there yet on this recruitment. It's just that Georgia, Ohio State, Tennessee, and Texas are the teams that are heavily involved, and all you got to do, follow the offer list. I think Murad Watson could be a contributor on this football team. Coach G, go do your thing. Coach G, go get Murad Watson to Knoxville. So what do you guys think? Quick little update there. Larry Johnson hits the transfer portal. We got a wide receiver from BYU, but also a kick return specialist in Keelan Marion that Tennessee has offered and going to get him on campus. And then we got to put the full court press on Murad Watson. I know that was a lot of information, a lot of news to talk about from the transfer portal. Try to cram as much as I can into these videos for you guys. What are your thoughts? Jump in the comment section. Let's talk about it. As always, smash the thumbs up on the way out the door. I would greatly appreciate it. Go check out our merchandise. You can get this Vols by Fitty shirt, bonfire.com/store/Talkin VAWLS. We've also got offensive shirts that say Buck Fama and FUGA. But we got a little bit more clean shirts that just say beat Georgia, beat Florida, Gator Hater. Whatever you want, we got it. Bonfire.com/store/Talkin VAWLS. The link's in the description below. Also, shout out to the members of the channel. This show doesn't exist without you. If you want to support, think about hitting that join button. But if not, smash the thumbs up because it's quick, free, and easy. Jump in the comment section. Let's talk about it because this is the Talkin VAWLS Network. My name's Boogie Bentley. Go Big Orange.